Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are listening to this. We decided to do a new segment called PS, and then whatever the title is going to be, whatever little blurb. Ew, I hate that word, and I already started using it. Whatever little thing we decide to talk about, we're going to keep these short and sweet, hopefully around like 12 to 15 minutes. The goal is 10, but we love to talk. So it's like a little shot of espresso for your brain. It's meant to be quick, a pick-me-up for you to listen to wherever you are, if you're feeling down or feeling like you just want a little bit of extra motivation. So today, the first one, we're going to talk about stop getting in your own way. So I noticed this coming up for myself. I am doing a fitness challenge, and it's 8 weeks long. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my throat right now.
Put the cigarettes down, Mari.
Swear to God, I'm Linda. I just chain smoke all weekend. What is happening? Anyways, so I'm in this 8-week fitness challenge. And in this fitness challenge, you have to count macros. You've got to follow the workouts. You've got to do all the things, right? And so we have 2 weeks left. And I have been reflecting on the past 6 weeks, and I have been in my head with some negative self-talk, with some not pleasant, happy, motivating thoughts for myself of like, I could have done better. I should have done this. I could have done that. And then I feel like that is setting me up for failure for these next 2 weeks. And so there's a Facebook page where you can write on, people can ask questions and stuff. And this girl posted that she had just lost her friend, the next 2 weeks, she doesn't really have any motivation, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, let me lift this girl up. Let me get in there and say something. And as I was writing it, I noticed like, bitch, take your own fucking advice. So the first thing I wrote to her was like, hey girl, these next 2 weeks are going to happen whether you participate in them or not. They're gonna go by. Time will not stop for anybody. So let's show up for ourselves and take it with a grain of salt of what can you do. Maybe you can't do all the workouts. Maybe you can't do the 5 workouts, the 3 cardio workouts, the counting the macros, the progress pictures, the check-ins. Maybe you can't do all of that, and that's okay. What can you do though? Let's not focus on the without. Let's focus on the with. What can you get done? What can you focus on? Because realistically, our thoughts and that mindset is what's preventing us from moving on. It's Absolutely. Nobody else. It is literally nobody else but us.
I think we do a really good job, which is so counterintuitive, right? Like quote unquote, a good job of talking ourselves out of things because of how we think about the situation. When I think about showing up online for social media, there's days that I'm like, fuck yeah, people want to see this. Like they come to me for X, Y, Z, blah, blah. And then there's other times I'm like, bitch, nobody cares what you're doing with your life until somebody meets me in person. And they're like, you have no idea how much you motivate me every day. And I'm like, what? Well, thanks. Like, that's why I do it, right? Like I do it for accountability for myself too. But if I can impact somebody else, it makes a huge difference. There's times where showing up online for me just seems like too much. But here's the thing. When you're a business owner, you have to show up online for people. You have to market your business. But I get in my own head of like, nobody's going to want to pay these prices. Nobody's going to want to like put in the work. And it gets really frustrating because I want to help people, but I can't help people if they don't want to be helped. Right. But I get in my own way of convincing myself that putting forth the work isn't going to matter, or it's not going to get me to where I want to be, even though I know that it is. So in those times, I will journal about what the fuck is coming up for me, right? Like, where are these thoughts coming from? Why do I feel this way? How can I challenge it? Because again, like we've talked about before, trying to sort through all that shit in your head is just not possible, because your brain is going to convince you of everything that you're trying to challenge it not to.
The thought process of no one's going to pay these prices. What is so special about what I have to say? Yes. And all of those thoughts absolutely come up for me. And like you said, the journaling or I literally don't know what's going on.
She's smoking right now. I can see it. She's smoking like a 60-year-old at a bar in Wisconsin. At a bowling alley, actually.
It literally, like, I feel like now I'm just hyper vigilant of like, oh my God, I'm going to sound like a frog. I'm going to sound like whatever. Anyways, look at cognitive errors right there. Like, what the fuck does it matter what you sound like? Record the fucking podcast. Like, record the little snippet, because it's so important that these little gems get out to people. The importance of journaling, writing it down, writing the gratitudes, writing the goals daily, staying positive affirmations to yourself are all to get us out of that negative mental headspace where we're like, well, what does it matter? Why would anyone care what I have to say? Nobody's going to show up for me, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. You have to show up for you first. It doesn't matter if, like you said, people have to want to help themselves first, right? Absolutely. People are not going to help themselves if we're not putting that content out there to be able to reach them first. So we come first. You've got to believe in yourself, just to the sense of like, I know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not going to stop affirming that for myself, because it's so important that I reach people or that I get this out to people. There's always going to be self-doubt. There's always going to be somebody who might do it better. There's always going to be something that is going to be an opposing force. The importance is believing in yourself and digging deep to be able to say, no, but I can do this. And this is what I'm good at, or this is what I do well. And really asking ourselves, thinking in this negative way, thinking in this like, well, I'm not going to do it. Is that effective?
Exactly.
Like you did the run yesterday for the Be Kind run. And so today I'm like, okay, well, I've got to do the run. I didn't wake up early enough to run. I don't like running when I have food in my stomach. I'm having my coffee, but then I don't like running because then I'll get a cramp. What does it matter, Mari? Those are all ways that you're talking yourself out of showing up for yourself. This is a run that you saw that promotes things that you like. So why? What does it matter? What does it matter if you don't run the full 3 miles? What does it matter? Like, I will walk to the extent of the 5K. I will do that for sure, walk or run. But like, what does it matter if you don't get a good time? What does it matter if you don't necessarily run the whole thing? What does it matter if you don't do it outside? Right. Yeah. It like, you're not winning medals here. You're not trying to, be the fastest sprinter.
I was trying out for Olympic trials for track. So
I don't know what you thought, but I was trying to get on the USA running team. Yeah. But anyways, but like, that's the whole thought process in my head of like, what does it matter? And I notice too, a correlation when I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed emotionally, if there's other things going on, I then start attacking the things that I love. Like fitness, showing up for myself, eating really healthy, like the things that I love to do, or like meal prepping, cooking. I think like, what's the point?
It's self-sabotage at its finest, right?
Yes.
Because you're like, fuck it, everything else sucks. I'm just going to make the things that I love suck even more. I had this talk with clients a lot too about when they have a lot of negative self-talk or they don't believe in themselves. And I'm like, bro, look, you've been doing that for how many years of your life? Let's try something else and see if that works, right? Like, talking shit to yourself hasn't worked thus far. Let's try to be positive and see what happens. Yeah, it's going to feel weird because you're not used to it. Doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right. That thought process of like, fake it till you make it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Like you said, if you've done the whole self-sabotage, talking shit to yourself, putting yourself down, like, yeah, it's not going to feel good in the beginning. It's going to feel like a complete fucking lie. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be the complete opposite. It doesn't have to be like, I hate myself, so I love myself. But it has to be like, some days I love myself and some days I don't. And that's okay. I'm learning to be able to balance between that acceptance and change for both. I can hold space for both right now.
Where you're at. Yep.
Yes. I love this. This is exciting.
It is exciting. Hopefully this episode helps you, like, feel better about your day. If you woke up feeling shitty, hopefully this little shot of espresso for your brain will help you feel better. Because we're human and we understand and we feel it too.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, like, look, we were so nervous to start recording because we didn't have like any of our editing,
like a structured plan.
Yeah, this is literally just a Zoom call recording because we wanted to be able to have these little things to shoot out. And I feel good about this first one.
Same. I feel like we nailed it.
Yes. Well, all right. Stay tuned for the next couple that are coming up. Again, these are just going to be a PS little sentence about whatever the little recording is about. Just kind of depends on what we're feeling, what we feel passionate about that day. And there is no set timeline release for these. So these are just sprinkled in. Little surprise.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.